Hello and welcome, ladies and gentlemen, as we come to you live on Madden 15. I know it's old school. If you've seen my Cleveland Browns relocation and whatnot video, then you know that right now I don't have the money to be able to get 17. So we're doing 15 just for the fun of it. A couple of my friends want to do this, so we've got our fantasy draft done. Essentially, I did it in a single player, but we are here. We're going to do it. We're actually going to play the first game in this video, and then we'll play the second game next week. The second game will be between one of me and my friends' teams, so of course that'll be interesting. I intend to make sure that that's a split series because, well, we own the same team. So as you can see, though, it is a full 32 team league. Owners, coaches, players. So what you have here is, I'm going to go down the list of the teams and their players. Let me see here. Okay, good. So you have Troy Aikman quarterbacking the San Francisco 49ers. Randall Cunningham is in Chicago quarterbacking the Bears. And all of the players are set so that they are auto start. So that means essentially they're just automatically the starter. Whichever quarterback that team drafted, then they're kind of getting put over with these guys or whatever position. But continuing on, Mike Ditka is coaching the Bengals instead of the Bears. You got the active owner for the Bills at this point in time. So more. Bill Walsh is in Denver. Dick Vermeil is in Cleveland. I feel bad for the man. Steve Young's quarterbacking the Buccaneers. Kurt Warner is one of only a few people that actually ended up with their actual team. We didn't really want to do that. I actually made a mistake with one of them. But either way, Kurt Warner is in Arizona. The Chargers are in Alex Spanos, their actual owner. George Blanda is quarterbacking the Chiefs. Jim Irsay, Colts. Joe Montana is in Dallas. That's great. That's great that I did that. I'm laughing my ass off at that one, but whatever. One of my buddies here, Mr. Bland, head coach of his Miami Dolphins. That's his favorite team, so that's who he's coaching. You got Ray Lewis in Philadelphia. And there's a reason for that. I would have put him on the Ravens just because it just is, but there's a reason he's not. And you'll see it in a moment. Continuing on, Joe Gibbs is in Atlanta. Tom Coughlin remains with the Giants. I just took active coach there to make sure it happens. We got Jimmy Johnson in Jacksonville. Dan Marino is in New York, quarterbacking the Jets. Brett Favre, who I had to custom create because he's not on the game, but I didn't care because I felt like he needed to be on the game. It's Brett Favre quarterbacking the Lions. Now, here's another one of them ended up with their team. Vince Lombardi is coaching the Green Bay Packers again because that makes sense. But whatever. Now we get into a few owners that are here that are their active owners, continuing through that. We move to the reason that Ray Lewis isn't on the Ravens. Because I own the Ravens. That is me owning the Ravens, and I'm okay with that. I'm thrilled with that. I'm fine with it. It's whatever. There's a reason for that. I am actually going to move the Ravens. But that's besides the point. Tom Landry's coaching the Washington Redskins. You got John Madden in New Orleans. Bradshaw is quarterbacking the Saints. Once again, had to make him because they didn't add Bradshaw, which I don't understand how you don't add one of only, I believe, three quarterbacks that have ever won 4 Super Bowls. It's Bradshaw, or at least I think it's just 3. I know it's Bradshaw, Montana, and Brady now. Then you have my other buddy, Mr. Hibbs. He's coaching the Steelers. Me and him both are Steelers fans, but I usually let him have the Steelers. It doesn't bother me because I like to move teams around, and I'd rather see the Steelers stay in Pittsburgh, so almost never pick the Steelers unless we're doing the normal roster, and I don't plan on moving them. So then we got Warren Moon in Houston, which is funny because he actually played in Houston, but not for that Houston. John Elway's in Tennessee, and Tom Flores is coaching the Minnesota Vikings. So now that we've covered all the coaches, owners, and players in the league that are controlling their teams, essentially, we move on to the rosters. My bad, rosters. So I have the Dolphins pulled up. We're going to very quickly go up here to the Bears. And as you can see, I'm just going to kind of give you the top players here. I'm not actually going to scroll through all of these guys on all of the teams. I'm just going to give you the top list. And if their quarterback's not on the list, I'll flip it to their quarterback. So there you go with the Bears. Their quarterback was Ryan Tannehill. I did flip down, and you guys could see that. You got Andrew Luck in Cincinnati. Buffalo's quarterback is not on the list. They do look like they have some good receivers to go with whoever is their quarterback, and I don't think those wide receivers are going to be much use. Oh, wow. All right, so we go to the Broncos then. Tom Brady. This is actually funny. I'm sitting there. I'm looking at it. Broncos had the first pick. They took Tom Brady. I looked at who New England took in the fantasy draft, and they actually drafted Peyton Manning. So it's kind of funny that they ended up flipped with their quarterbacks, but it happens. So now you move on to Cleveland, and Cleveland is Cleveland, as we all know. Cleveland actually... Okay, no, they're Cleveland. They're definitely Cleveland. Blake Bortles at quarterback actually might not be such a bad thing for them. Blake Bortles is a nice, strong-armed quarterback. He should fare pretty well there. Then you got Andy Dalton in Tampa, and he's hurt. And actually, Steve Young's the quarterback anyway, so that's what I thought. But Andy Dalton's hurt, so Steve Young's playing quarterback. Arizona, who's Arizona? Joe Flacco and Kurt Warner. So, once again, Flacco's hurt, so now you got Kurt Warner in here at quarterback, so whatever. It works. Chargers, another quarterback that's not on the list. Teddy Bridgewater. All right. So you look, some decent players there in San Diego. They got Patrick Peterson. Now, San Diego's actually going to move to L.A. I'm moving San Diego to L.A. and the Rams to L.A., and there's a few other teams that are getting moved around, and you guys will find that out in week 1 of season 2. But until that point, I'm not telling you guys. So you'll just have to wait around and see that. We move on to the Chiefs, who look like a pretty decent team as well. We got LaShawn McCoy. Good defense. It's kind of looking like quarterback. They got Brock Osweiler. Actually, no, correction. They have George Blanda. That's right. I did cover that. Colts. You pull up the Colts. They got Aaron Rodgers at quarterback. So they are set at quarterback. I don't think that you could have a better quarterback, really, in the NFL right now. Aaron Rodgers is definitely one of the best quarterbacks out there, although I will take Ben. If I am starting a franchise, I will always take Ben first. I think Ben's got that last few minutes kind of top talent that you really need. Johnny Manziel was the starter. Joe Montana is the starter in Dallas. Miami has Derek Carr, as you just saw. He would have been on that list anyway. A.J. Green, Amari Cooper, Greg Olsen. Miami's offense is looking really, really, really good. For those of you that don't know, you're probably asking, how do you have players that wouldn't have been on Madden 15? I want to thank whoever it was. I don't remember which roster I downloaded, but I downloaded a 2017 update to the roster, and this is what I've ended up with. And I'm very thankful for whoever did it. It's a lot of fun. I'm sure it took a lot of time. I know it takes me a lot of time just to make a couple players, so I can only imagine how long it took as we see Marcus Mariota quarterbacking the Philadelphia Eagles. So whoever made it, thank you. I'm really happy that you did that, and it made my life a lot easier. I just had to make a couple players that I absolutely wanted. 49ers, I know. Actually, I didn't pull up their their quarterback's there. Carson Palmer. Okay. 49ers is Troy Aikman. Yep. Who is definitely a better quarterback than having Tyrod Taylor out there. New York Giants has Alex Smith. Okay. That should do. As you could see on the Giants, one of the players that I have made on this game, and I guess I didn't take his overall down far enough as I thought I did, but is D.D. Westbrook. For those of you that don't know, D.D. Westbrook finished, I think, fourth or fifth. He was one of the lower ones in the Heisman this year, but he did finish in the Heisman. Deshaun Watson, obviously, Heisman Trophy winning quarterback out of Clemson, quarterbacking the Jaguars. Move on to the Jets, and their quarterback is Dan Marino, who takes over for Jameis Winston, which I would be thrilled about. That's just me. I'm not a big fan of Jameis Winston. Moving on to the Lions, I believe was Brett Favre. Yeah, Brett Favre is going to take over for Matt Ryan, so expect to see Matt Ryan as a free agent whenever he can be, or on the trade block at some point. That usually is what happens. You move on to the Packers, they get OBJ, which is going to be great for whoever is at quarterback, which is, wow, Sam Bradford. Oh, okay. Not who I thought it would be, but all right. Moving on to Carolina. Carolina focused quite a bit on defense to start out. So you could see Geno Atkins and Haloti Ngata, as well as Luke Kuechly, making them a decent team. They ended up with Eli Manning and Carson Wentz as their backup. So Panthers are in a good position. On to the Patriots, and as I said, Peyton Manning was selected by New England. Other than that, it looks like they focused a bit on defense, I think. I don't really know where they went with their team. Oakland got Phillip Rivers. The Rams have... Who do the Rams have? Drew Brees. All right, so LA will be pretty decent once they get out there next season. On to my team, which is the Ravens. As you can see, I focused on defense as well. Likes of Aaron Donald, Ndamukong Suh, Eric Berry, Cam Chancellor. I managed to get Adrian Peterson. So my team is kind of like around an 82. A lot of other teams are a lot higher, but I'm very thrilled with where I'm at. I have Baker Mayfield, which made me happy, one of the players that I created, as well as Jake Browning is another one I created for this roster just to make sure that I had them. Again, I'm big fans of some of the guys coming out of college. I'm an Oklahoma fan, for one thing, so that's why I have this. Landry's going to be starting for me when you see him in the second game against the Steelers. Continuing on, we have Adrian Peterson at running back. Oh, wait. Whoops. Continuing on, my bad. Continuing on is Redskins with Russell Wilson at quarterback, so Washington ought to be a decent team, good threat. The Saints have... Who do the Saints have? Kirk Cousins. Well, you like that? You like that in who dat? All right. So New Orleans gets Kirk Cousins. In Seattle, I know it's Bradshaw. Bradshaw's replacing Romo, so I could assume Seattle would probably be happy about that. Pittsburgh, you can see, is, it's Pittsburgh, literally. AB, Lev Bell, Ben Roethlisberger, offensive line's exactly the same. Martellus Bennett's on the team. A couple guys got drafted that aren't on the Steelers, but for the most part, the Steelers are the Steelers, as you would expect the Steelers to be. In Houston, you have Cam Newton, but Warren Moon is the starter, so another quarterback that you can expect on the trade block. In Tennessee, was John Elway takes over for Matthew Stafford, which kind of sucks because I think Matthew Stafford's a great young quarterback. Well, at least on here he's young, 5 years, but I still think he's a good quarterback. I like Detroit and their chances, honestly, if he could kind of step up his game from the way he's been playing as of late. And then in Minnesota, wow, I kind of feel bad for Minnesota. I mean, you got Ryan Fitzpatrick, who, don't get me wrong, Fitzy is a great quarterback when he needs to be. He's just not my idea of the all-starter, all season long. He's kind of, in my mind, a great backup. You know, if you need him to come in, he can serve it. But he's being asked to start in Minnesota, who have a really good secondary from the look of it. So that handles the roster. We're going to go ahead and get into this game, which I'm going to be playing as Justin's team to start us off with. And as you can see, that's the Dolphins taking on the Patriots at home. And I'm going to go ahead and get this game started. So thank you guys for tuning in, and I hope you guys enjoy this game. I'm going to turn it over to Phil Sims and Jim Nance. As soon as it loads up. If it loads up, I know how stupid this game is. And that's what it's looking like it's going to do, which means that I'm not going to get to play this game. Well, guys, this has turned into the roster and owner information. So thank you guys for stopping by. The game's frozen on me. I'll get you a game for this week. I don't know which game it will be, but it will be a game. And I hope you guys will enjoy it. Once I do pull it up, I'll figure it out here in just a moment and get another broadcast started. But thank you guys so much for tuning in. Make sure to follow us, and I'll see you guys in a little bit.